Halftime is sponsored by AT&T. The only goal, it came back in the 20th minute. Tobin Heath notching her 7th in her last 9 appearances. The U.S., they've led in every game here at the SheBelieves Cup, but they have not been able to close out any of them. Rob Stone, Sekide Udo, Leslie Osborne, Christy Pierce.
Yeah, Toby is really doing really well in that front line. I love what she's doing, taking players on and setting Alex Morgan on. You know,
maybe the most exciting player the U.S. has tonight for sure. We're going to talk plenty about Tobin in a minute. Everybody wants to talk about Alex, or they want to talk about Pino, but how about Tobin Heath? Maybe the team's most exciting player, Leslie.
Well, absolutely. This is the way the U.S. wanted to start off. The interplay between those three have been so strong this whole tournament. That little slip ball from Tobin Heath, Megan Rapinoe, offsides call, but them three up top, their chemistry has just been on fire all tournament.
And Mercy, here's the game's only goal in the 20th.
Yeah, Tobin's been very dangerous, finding slip balls in, playing really simple, and she deserves this one. Her work rate has been tremendous.
Morgan denied number 100.
And that's not an easy finish. The ball's spinning, and Tobin makes that look pretty.
But it's more than just finishing loose balls at the edge of the box that Tobin Heath has brought to the team tonight.
Yeah, she's been dangerous. She's been excellent on both sides of the ball, not just on the attack, but, you know, on the defensive side as well. She's getting in there. She's getting into tackles. And I love this about Tobin right now is she just changes speed. You know, you just can't teach that. You just have to go after it. And, you know, she makes a simple touch inside, which eliminates her defender, and just a simple ball across. But she's not done. Like, she stays on top of it, and what an excellent finish with her left foot.
Midfield issues coming into this game. Samantha Mewis has steadied the ship a little bit.
Well, yeah, big question. Why is she not in the center of the park? She's a natural number 8. She balances out this midfield. She's a box-to-box player. She's able to flick on, bring her aerial presence here, just a little one-touch. She's breaking that pressure, and now Megan Rapinoe is running at Brazil's back line. This is what she's able to do, and it becomes natural to her. And even coming up here, box-to-box, getting her head on it, almost scoring a goal. This is what the U.S. has been looking for.
Yeah, and also if they can also try to move the ball side to side, try to possess the ball more. Because right now we are trying to play too direct, and we're losing the ball. If they can just keep it a little bit longer.
More patience.
And be more patient.
1-0 U.S. at the break. The States, remember, they won this tournament 2 the last 3 years. Not the case this time around. It's England who is going to take home the trophy. We'll show you how they clinched the title against Japan next.
Years ago, they conquered the world. Now, they're back.
The World Cup. The shot! Sensational finish! It's unbelievable! He will shock the world!
Some say we're a little spoiled in California.
But it isn't our fault.
Nope.
We didn't make all this.
We're not too.
We get a little starstruck.
Did you see who's here?
Sometimes we have to pinch ourselves.
To make sure it's real.
Smoothie?
Ooh.
This is real.
I think it's a wig.
Still think we're spoiled?
Come visit.
It might take your breath away, too.
Start your trip at visitcalifornia.com.
These are the people who make Gentleman Jack. Cultured. Refined. As smooth as the whiskey itself. Just kidding. They're the same folks who make Old Number 7. They simply take the time to mellow it twice. Gentleman Jack. Extra smooth. From the makers of Jack Daniels.
FS1's coverage is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer, and by Marvel Studios. Captain Marvel. Discover what makes her a hero in theaters everywhere on Friday. 1-0 U.S. at the half. Earlier tonight in Tampa, Japan, England. The winner, Mercy, would claim the SheBelieves Cup title.
Wow, look at the way Stacey took that shot. Surprised the Japan defense line.
Lacey Stainforth makes it 1-0 England. The second came in the 23rd minute.
Off a set piece, find herself end line. What a great header to finish that. Good service.
7 minutes later, let's make it 3-0.
And England firing on all cylinders this tournament. Japan just with tired legs. Look at, they're so slow to recover. Beth Mead has all the time in the world. She even cuts inside, gets even a better look, and rifles it near post. What a goal.
What a tournament for England. They have continued to impress. They are clearly one of the teams to look out for this summer at the Women's World Cup. England, they'll lift the hardware when the U.S. and Brazil are done tonight in Japan. Second half from Tampa coming your way on the backside. Tobin Heath started it, and she finished it in the 20th minute. 1-0 U.S. second half kick. Next.
FS1's coverage of the SheBelieves Cup tournament is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer, and by the new Captain Marvel. Tickets on sale now in theaters everywhere Friday. USA leading Brazil by the score of 1-0. A look at Kristen Press, who will make her third appearance in the SheBelieves Cup as a sub. And Allie, we saw her make an impact in that first game for sure, coming off the bench against Japan.
Yeah, she's been a spark certainly, and I think she had earned an opportunity to start, but at least coming in half will give her a good 45. And I think with her coming in, the likely shift is Tobin Heath sliding into the midfield, and that's a big thing for the U.S. What I want to see in this half is their ability to actually put their foot on it and take the sting out of a game, change up the tempo more often. I think with Mewis in there, you've seen them control the midfield more. Her ability, her tempo on the ball, just to be able to play some incisive passes in the center of the park has really shifted things for the U.S. And now if Tobin Heath can get in there and they can connect more, slow things down at times, I think the U.S. will find themselves in a better position as they come out of this tournament.
We're told that Press will replace Mallory Pugh. Let's see if Brazil is going to make a change as well. That's Jay-Z, number 18, getting instructions from Marta. And no doubt about the way they're going to be playing together, maybe with that chemistry based on the body language. And we'll see who Jay-Z will be replacing. So it looks like just one change for each team.
Jay-Z's a handful. She has power, she has pace, and she's going to ask a lot of questions if she fades out to that right side of the left Dunn, if it is, in fact, Crystal Dunn. There's been so many shifts that we've seen with the U.S. side, even within their personnel that stay on the field. You just don't know how they're going to line up to start the match.
Hey, you guys,
Or the half, I should say.
winners do the right thing every moment of every game. We have 45 more minutes to do the right thing together. Do not let down. Do not show weakness. We're fucking winners. Let's go! 1, 2, 3.
Apologize for any salty language that you may have heard in that final huddle.
That's real.
Yeah.
It's raw. It's what we do.
All right, U.S. has broken out of their huddle. Brazil is still in theirs. We'll wait and see if Jay-Z came out onto the field. Looked like she was coming in. So it's posted now, Press for Mallory Pugh. That's the only numbers that have been put up there. Do we see Jay-Z out there, or is she not out there? I see her out there, yeah.
Yep.
But
Near side of the circle.
we didn't see the fourth official signal who was out. Caroline Chenard.
I don't see Dabinia.
Dabiña's out. That's the sub.
Dabinia, an abnormally quiet night. I thought she was one of the best players for Brazil in the first 2 matches.
A like-for-like sub. Fresh legs. We'll see if they make an impact in this game. But Jay-Z is a player with professional experience in Brazil and Spain, despite being only 20 years of age, and has played in 2 under-20 Women's World Cups. Dunn will play it back. Sauerbrunn. This is Dahlkemper. We'll see what else might change here for the U.S. strategy-wise, tactically, because you've got Heath now in a different position.
Well, in fact, she's staying high, and it looks like Press is at the top of a triangle with perhaps Ertz and Mewis being the double pivot in the bottom.
That would be a switch. Here's Beat trying to get through. Collected by Dahlkemper. to Brazil. Andressa on the ball. Playing it all the way back to Alini. Third straight start for Alini in goal for Brazil. They've got other goalkeepers on their roster, and Barbara, who we've used to seeing, Barbara, not even with this team because of a finger injury. She started the most games, 6 in World Cup qualifying, Barbara. Alini had the other. Alex Curry had a chance to speak with Jill Ellis at halftime. Alex, what did you hear?
Jill Ellis said there's a lot of positives from the first half. Top to bottom, they've done well defensively. They're creating chances. Now it's about managing where their legs are at, continuing to keep that good tempo and be sharper in certain areas.
We'll see how the second half plays out for Jill Ellis in the USA. Trying to make a positive statement in this final game of the SheBelieves Cup. If this result stands, they'll finish in second place in this tournament. I think some things they're concerned about, Ali. They want the win, yes. They probably also want the shutout as well, because defensively, they're not happy with what they've given up.
No, and they've been under a ton of pressure. I said in the open that I think the way they've been playing by not controlling tempo, speeding things up, slowing things down, they've invited that pressure on themselves. They've been putting themselves in precarious situations where they're making wrong decisions. Tonight, it's been better.
Birds finding press, and it's knocked away. Press will recover. High energy from press, too long, overhit it, intended for Rapinoe.
But there's a caveat with that, and that is that Brazil doesn't ask many questions of you positionally the way Japan can, the way in England can with Frank Kirby sitting underneath. They don't have that wrinkle.
Play short and back to Alini. She got it out wide for Andressa. Pressure on the ball from the USA. Thaisa for Brazil, knocked away. Good tracking from press. U.S. slipping around. U.S. left-footed shot wide. She's been very aggressive, though, tonight.
And some nifty turns. She saw the pressure of 2 players in the first half, and even there, you think perhaps she's under a lot of pressure and going to concede possession. Great work from press to find her there. And a little nuanced touch to just glide around Formiga. Hasty in her decision to shoot, perhaps.
Yeah, I was going to say aggressive, but also decisive tonight, right? And that's one of the things that the U.S. was talking about before, to make better decisions and quicker.
And exactly, and that's what she does for you. If you go back and watch her game tape that we've seen, it's 1 touch, it's 2 touch. She always shapes her body up. She knows where she's going with it before she receives it.
Brazil back on it, goes out between the benches. Both sides thought it was their ball. It's a throw in for Leticia Santos. The right back will push it ahead. Bia was looking for it, can't get it. Mewis is on it. That's deflected, but the foul on Brazil. Free kick U.S. Goal by Tobin Heath in the 20th minute is the difference still in this game.
And thinking about what Jill Ellis said to us the other day, one of the profiles of players she wants to find in center midfield is a player that can turn and run the back line. That's why she likely is sliding press in.
Long ball into the box, goes to Alini. With that lob toss to the right. Adriana has help on the overlap on the right side. Leticia Santos putting it ahead. Bia is on it. Jay-Z's with her. Bia to the end line, trying to cross it. Out should be for a Brazilian corner. Their second one, first of this half.
One of the first times they've gotten in behind of a high back line from the U.S. Good recovery ultimately by Dunn there.
The corner from Marta. Ball driven in, and that's grabbed by Harris. U.S. sending it too long. Right in front of Alini. Brazil will take it over. Monica on the ball. Thaisa. Brazil, the most successful South American team in the women's game. Step forward, that's cut off.
Sam says no.
circle. Drawing a crowd of three, beating that crowd. Press for Rapinoe. Blocked, and will go out for a goal kick.
This is exactly it from Kristen Press, what Jill Ellis wanted to see, the ability to run at that back line and pull away from the retreating midfield. Just bodies off her player, cuts in front actually with that touch, and Jay-Z has pace. Press stays ahead.
Well, last year, probably around this time, Press headed back to Sweden, right? Because she didn't want to be playing for her NWSL team after the trade to Houston. Now she's settled in at Utah, so a different offseason, I guess, for her.
And a new rhythm. She's looked sharp.
Yeah, she has. Started in the game against France, otherwise coming off the bench. Via broken up. The follow through from Thaisa. Options coming. Thaisa was calling for it, now receives it. Pushing it wide. Marta can go with either foot. Marta cutting, likes the left better than the right. Will fire it, and that's upstairs over Harris.
We saw Brazil in the first half have success when they cut the ball back towards the top of the 18. Well, Marta had no options there this time, so she has to go alone. You can see the numbers backed by the U.S. They're tight, they're compact. So Marta takes on Dunn. No one is there to help her.
Will this be her last Women's World Cup? You would think so at 33 now. Maybe has another Olympic tournament in her. But at some point, they'll have to rely on some younger players. You mentioned before, Formiga, 41. At some point, they will have to retool. And a lot of these veterans will no longer be on the squad.
And invest in women's soccer in their country. This country that produces such great footballers. You know they're there. Find them, develop them, invest in them.
From what we heard yesterday from Brazil, they're spending more money in the women's game. There is more interest in the women's game. They're trying to do the right thing there. They also said that Global TV, the big television company in Brazil, will be televising all of their games. That's a first.
$2 is more than one. It's still not enough.
Correct. But it's progress, no?
Too slow.
Okay. O'Hara to the right. U.S. advancing. Heath was open for a second. Taken away by Formiga. Brazil get 4 numbers forward. It's broken up.
Good up, Sam.
The U.S. trying to counter on the right. There is some room. Heath puts one up. A couple of late runs there, but it's too close to Alini. Hurts made a nice run. You had Morgan up there as well.
And Hurts is up there because Mewis was the one doing the dirty work, protecting that back line. She had run stride for stride, won the ball, and then launched that counter.
Pushed wide, far side. Brazil looking for space against the USA. From outside the box, it's sent in. Swept away off Sauer run. Marta. Looking to be isolated against Dunn. Sending it in, it's blocked once. And just cleared outside, and Rapinoe tracks it down. Morgan laid it off nicely. Press going forward. Long run there by Heath on the right. Morgan joins with a run. Heath got taken down. Free kick here. Aggressive challenge from Brazil results in a yellow card. Protest by Andressa. First yellow of this game.
Tobin has a lot of space to run her defender because of the ball played in by Press. You can see with that touch, she's trying to shift the weight of Andressa. Andressa looking to just impede her path to the ball. It's all Heath. Right decision by the referee. How about that ball from Press, though?
Terrific. Sets up this free kick. Morgan had made a nice run, and you know that Heath was going to be looking for her. The wall set up now by Alini. This will be about 23 yards away. Again, a pretty good distance for Megan Rapinoe. The wall is 10 yards back. On the whistle, Rapinoe will strike. Fires it right off the wall. Collected by O'Hara. Heath. Down again. It's one of the other things that Tobin does so well. Her 1v1 ability. Either she gets around that defender or she gets fouled and sets up a free kick.
And Andressa's got to be getting frustrated. Heath is winning this battle. Fumbles are over. That's just a clumsy challenge. Tobin Heath lets that ball run. Doesn't even touch it, trying to spin her.
And now Heath will have this free kick from the far side. Lining it up for a left foot. Driving it in. It falls wide of a couple of players. The U.S. tracks it down. Outside for Dunn. Driven ball in. Knotted down once. Too heavy. Too far from Heath. Goal kick for Alini. Today's coverage of the SheBelieves Cup is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. Almost at the hour mark. U.S. in a familiar position, though, Allie. They've played well, but it's just a one-goal lead. So how do they close it? Can they add to that? Can they get that killer second goal?
Well, I think having the double pivot in Ertz and Mewis helps protect that back line and limit the chances for Brazil. And they can still be on the front foot. It doesn't mean you have to concede possession.
U.S. try to turn it upfield. Instead, it comes back the other way. Marta try to find Bia. Dunn has it in front of the Brazil bench. Brazil getting ready to make a change. Looks like Jusinara set by the fourth official. Foul on the U.S.
And this might be, at first glance to me, it looked like it was the wrong call.
Here's a sub for Brazil coming up. Let's see who's coming out. It is going to be Andressa. Jusinara making her second appearance of this tournament, replacing Andressa, who had just received a yellow card. And Andressa now leaving. Doesn't have to come over to the fourth official anymore with that sub. Goes out closest to where she is on that field.
She had a difficult night against Tobin Heath. This is a squad that Vidal has admitted is not as fit as they should be. If they're going to compete at the highest level, they can't bring the intensity for the 90 minutes, and they certainly wane as they start to hit this mark as we near 60 minutes.
We talked about their fitness. They had three different levels, right? Players playing in Brazil, players playing in Europe, and others who are going to be joining NWSL teams in preseason.
Just trying to get them all on the same page, and that's a really good look at the wrong call by the referee. Mewis dwells on it too long, and Bia actually gets kicked by Mewis in that Achilles.
Bia is one of their better scorers. Mewis getting some instruction from Jill Ellis. Bia scored 6 goals in World Cup qualifying.
You know what Mewis wants to do. She wants to ping that to the far side. The retreat of Bia. Not only does she not get the call, she gets injured in the process.
Get stretchered off. Let's see if this will be it for her. Brazil are going to make a change. Or it appears so. They don't have anyone up, though, by the fourth official. So let's wait and see. Bia going to the sideline, though, for some attention. So So it'll be one player down right now for Brazil. 11 v 10. We're hearing that Emily Sonnet will be the next U.S. sub. U.S. under pressure. Sauerbrunn. O'Hara forced back. Ball is taken away. Nice recovery by O'Hara. It was well done. Cleared away from Adriana.
But too slow on it initially. She's the one who gets dispossessed. Adriana finds herself trying to sneak in behind. O'Hara recovers and makes amends for that mistake.
Justinara's throwing. And the foul. Foul against Brazil. Ludmila is the player that's getting ready to come in. So Bia's not going to be coming back. She'll take her spot. 63rd minute. A Tobin Heath goal. The difference came in the 20th minute. Her second goal of this tournament. As many games back to back here. Monica heads it away. Ertz pings it right. O'Hara, the cross, grabbed by Arini. She'll hold on to it. Familiar spot for the U.S. with just that one goal lead. They led by one over Japan in the opening game in Chester, Pennsylvania. Twice they led by one goal, and Japan came back, including that goal in stoppage time. Against England, the USA led. England leveled, and then England went ahead, and then the U.S. came back to even the score on a Heath goal.
This is where the game management comes in for the United States. To not open themselves up, leave themselves vulnerable, and see this game out.
Marta on it. Coming all the way back. Brazil still with the 10 players. To the feet of Alini. Erica. Monica. 64th minute. USA 1. Brazil no score. Final game of the SheBelieves Cup tournament. Up the middle. Picked off. Nice job by Press. Ball slightly behind Heath, but Heath will get to it. O'Hara makes a run. Right sideline, knocked out. Corner, U.S. And now we'll see the sub. Brazil played with 10 for a while. So Ludmila is in. 24-year-old whose club team is Atletico Madrid. Pina will take the corner. That's Bia watching from the sideline now on the bench. Corners are low tonight for these two teams. Second one for Rapinoe. Pushing it up there. And that's cleared away. U.S. looking to recover off Sauerbrunn. O'Hara. Rapinoe somewhat open. Rapinoe across. And that's knocked away. And this ball should go out by the corner flag. It is finally out. We're going to see the sub. Sonnet will come in, replacing Kelly O'Hara. So that has to be encouraging. O'Hara with 45 minutes the first game and then went beyond the hour mark in the next two games.
And she shut down Dabinia in that first half. Even in this last attack here, you're saying that she can get forward. What I want to see if Sonnet comes into the match is, yes, get forward, get in advanced positions, but we don't have to swing the ball in all the time. If you're the United States, you want to pull that back, maintain a bit more possession, control the tempo, slow things down at times. It's okay.
A like-for-like substitution. Sonnet's second appearance in the SheBelieves Cup tournament. Came in the first game in Chester, Pennsylvania. Headed down too far for Heath. Brazil back on the ball, right side. Leticia Santos. Erica.
separated work there done by Alex Morgan. We don't talk about the defensive shift she puts in.
Knocked over to Formiga. Ludmila putting one up. Headed once on a bounce. Dunn has to trap that one down, and does. But gave it away. Leticia Santos for Brazil. Into the middle it comes. Thais' pass, left side. Marta blocked. Loose in the box. Marta trying to get it back. It's going to be cleared out, but it's Brazil's ball. Jusinara will take the throw in. For club team Valencia. US will have it. Tobin Heath still with the game's only goal. 20th minute. That's the difference in this game. From a defensive standpoint, the US must be pleased, but offensively, they're not getting as many chances probably as they would like, and certainly not converting.
They're not converting, right? And Jill Ellis talked about trying to be better in those 18-yard boxes. Left wanting offensively tonight, at least to this point. But this is when Brazil starts to fatigue typically, and we'll see if the U.S. can capitalize on it.
US have made 2 subs. Brazil have made 3 at this point. Ertz is the player down in the circle. A free kick for the U.S. Ertz has taken some lumps in this tournament. She's been down a few times.
That's the nature of the way she plays. She puts her body on the line time and time again. She's trying to hold off her defender. And it looks like it might have been when Formiga comes in to double up on her to help her teammate, Ludmila.
Looked like her right foot was exposed, and Formiga caught it. Well, you know, they're still looking at players for the 23-player roster and the starting 11, but you know that Ertz's number is in pen, not in pencil, and that starting 11.
Sharpie?
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. That's even better, right? So always a concern from Jill Ellis and the coaching staff when especially when a big-time player is down for any length of time.
And that's been the balancing act of, there will be the balancing act as you head towards a world championship, and it's something that we've discussed. Perhaps more rotation is necessary because you're going to need it in a World Cup. You're not going to win a World Cup with 13, 14 players. You're going to need 19, 20 players to play more than a handful of minutes.
Ertz is walking off under her own power. Slow walk to the sideline for Ertz. 1-0 scoreline. Tobin Heath with the goal. It's been a fairly physical game, but only 1 yellow card, and that went to Andressa, who has since been subbed out. Bia left the game with an injury. It didn't look serious, and she was still on the bench, so you wouldn't think it was. The U.S. will put it back into play. They're playing now with 10 versus 11 of Brazil. Final game of the SheBelieves Cup tournament. 2 draws for the USA. That's uncharacteristic. And now they're in a tight and tough one against Brazil. Only 1-0. Dahlkemper. Heath. Sonnet. Lifting it long. Off Morgan. Trying to make that connection with Heath. On the change there, it's Kristen Press. Running at the Brazilian defense. Press looking. Didn't get the shot off. Looked like she was trying to set herself up for one. And now Brazil will come back the other way. Marta getting it wide. Ludmila. Runners forward for Brazil, a couple of them. Marta trails. Back heel, that was fancy. Well done by Marta. Allows possession to be kept. Leticia Santos cross, headed up the middle. Normally a bad spot, but the U.S. escapes. Only to lose the ball again there. The U.S. will get it back. Push to the back. Brits is back in the field, so she didn't miss much. Dunn. Oh, that's dangerous. The U.S. was able to get to it, though. Thanks to Dahlkemper. Sauerbrunn.
Even with that dangerous pass, that was one of the best tempo sequences we've seen from the U.S. 1-2 touch. It started with a sonnet, really.
What do you want to see now? We talked about game management before. They're up by 1, 72nd minute.
Advance towards the halfway and start to possess.
There's U.S.
With that same tempo.
Strong run. Still with it. U.S. looking. Sam Lewis blocked. She'll slide it across. Shot by Heath is blocked. Morgan header. Close. But not close enough to goal number 100.
And some real chaos caused by Sam Lewis. Just forcing the issue, really. Tries to get her shot off with some heavy legs, but Tobin Heath has held her position well. Gives herself the time and space to get a shot off. It's deflected, and then Alex Morgan trying to doink that over the top of Alini. Misses the far post, not by a lot. Quiet night for Alex Morgan. She's doing a lot of the defensive work, a lot of the back-to-goal work. She hasn't had a lot of joy.
Morgan laid it off. Rapinoe. Heath was calling for it. Here's Tobin. Holding there. She still has the only goal of the game. She scored the last 2 for the U.S. Ertz tried to drive it up the middle. She'll get a second try here from distance. Ertz finding Sonnet. The right back high upfield. Sonnet trying to go wide around that last Brazilian defender. Easier said than done. Broken up there. Press. Nice work. Press. Low shot blocked. She's made some big plays tonight, Kristen Press, here in the second half.
She's been so good as that 10.
Right sideline. Ludmila cutting across. Try to play it through for JZ.
JP, the pace that Press can hunt the ball down and close down in the midfield has been problematic for Brazil. She's forcing errors. And then equally as quick in transition.
U.S. helping Dunn to win that ball. Ertz. Oh, Morgan got taken out. No foul? Apparently not. Leticia Santos sending it up. Brought down in the box. Some juggling there. No shot yet for Brazil. It comes back. Marta. One touch too many for the great Brazilian. And now the U.S. will try to counter with Rapinoe. Force back. Should try to solve that with a pass ahead to Mewis. It's cleared back by Brazil. Mewis went down.
Someone left their whistle at home.
Yeah. We've seen some fouls there that were let go. Both teams. Brazil on it. Moved across. Ludmila. Marta was wide open. They still don't see her. Now they do. Marta on it. Will curl one up. Headed save by Harris. Terrific play and a redirected ball. It's coming back. Big time save for Ashlyn Harris. Should have been 1-1. Great play.
Massive moment for that woman there. The player had snuck in between Sauerbrunn and Dahlkemper. Quick deflection, reaction save. That was big time.
The U.S. back with it with Sauerbrunn. That was Brazil's best opportunity, clearly, on the night. Santos knocked it out. Press. Pulling it back. Ball clipped in. Alini spilled it. But no foul there, no harm either, as Brazil will move it ahead of Formiga. Here's Marta. Marta pushing it ahead. What a ball. Far sideline. Adriana pulling it back. That's blocked. The U.S. scrambling back defensively. It bounces, and Harris is there.
Good spell for Ashlyn Harris. Here it is. The ball whipped in by Marta on that left-footed. It was 19 Ludmilla who'd snuck in between Sauerbrunn and Dahlkemper. The ball drops in right between the two, and then Ashlyn Harris so quick to the ground. I mean, that is so difficult to read. Cat-like reflexes, big moment for her, knowing she's trying to earn that #2 spot.
U.S. back in the ball. A slim 1-0 lead. It was almost 1-1.
She couldn't earn the #1 spot, could she?
Jill Ellis is saying that Alyssa Nair is #1. She wanted Nair to play every game in this tournament. If you joined us late, Alyssa Nair out. Second straight game. Supposed to be out 7 to 10 days with an injured left shoulder, so we'll probably see her back in April when the U.S. is back in action. Press. Taken away. It's deflected out. Belongs to Brazil. It's amazing when we talked about Formiga at age 41. A, that she's on the team. B, that she's starting. And C, they've not taken her out in any of the games. So 2 full 90s, first 2 games, and she's still out there, 78th minute.
And the ground that she's still able to cover. Tremendous engine. Some people are just gifted with it.
All 6 Olympics and 6 straight Women's World Cups. That ties the record held by the great Homari Sawa of Japan. And based on the fact that she's still on this team, you would think that she's going to set this record in France. Phil Neville watching and communicating on the cell phone. Congratulations to him. His team were declared the winners of the SheBelieves Cup tournament based on their last result, 3-0 over Japan. That clinched the top spot. U.S. finishes in second if they win this game. Brazil. Free kick U.S. Foul is on Jusinara. So in this game, we're in the 79th minute, and the U.S. has made just 2 changes. Brazil have made just 3. Marta. Looking it ahead. Ludmilla. Showed the best chance moments ago. Marta. Leticia Santos. Big cross. Late run. But it just missed Thaisa. And the U.S. scrambles to pick it up. Heath. Sonnet. All the way upfield. Knotted down by Morgan. Brazil back in their own half. Erica. Driven wide by Erica from Marta, who's seeing a lot more of the ball the last 15 minutes or so. And that's one of the things she does very well, drawing those fouls. Dunn took her down. Free kick here. And Brazil, like they are in the men's game, always dangerous on free kicks.
And on the right side, she keeps cutting into her favored left foot. Dunn wise to it, just battling with her, and then ties her up.
Tina Davidson is going to be the next sub for the U.S. But first, this free kick from Marta. Still a threat to score, even in a scoring slump, certainly from this distance on a free kick. 23 yards away for the brilliant Marta, setting it in, and Harris is there and holds on. It remains 1-0 U.S.
Orlando Pride teammates Ashlyn Harris knows these services in well, spills it initially, but then covers it up.
Harris will put it back into play. We'll see who Davidson is going to come in for. That will tell us a bit about the strategy and the game management and closing this one out here in the 82nd minute.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was for Sam Lewis.
On this right side, end line for press. Oh, Rapinoe is sitting in the seam. It comes out. Ertz fires high and wide. Opportunity by the boards. The ring is going to be for Rapinoe. So that's not going to be a like-for-like swap, certainly. So we'll see where Davidson slots in there.
So we could think perhaps the press shifts outside. But with all the shifting that we've seen with this U.S. side, players playing different roles, I'm not shocked by anything at this point.
Press just came to the sideline to get some words from the coaching staff in isolation for Megan Rapinoe. As Tierney Davidson comes in. Third U.S. sub. Let's see where she does go. So press now. She is staying out wide. Putting someone extra in the center of that midfield.
It looks to be the same shape, JP, though, with Davidson sitting in the center of the triangle. Ertz pushing to the right. These are nuances Jill wants to work on. Flexibility with personnel in different roles. She says she likes Davidson in that deep six spot.
Davidson came out of nowhere, really, last year. A heralded player out of Stanford, started a dozen games for the U.S. and looked like she was going to become a starter. Then she had the injury, and now she's just getting herself back. But she's done well for herself with this national team.
Room for improvement, surely, but player for this World Cup and the future.
Jay-Z. Here comes Jay-Z with some good speed into the box. Went down. Does not get that call. And the Brazilian players are letting Caroline Chenard know about it.
Immediately called into action, Davidson is. And it's with the power of Jay-Z. Those two tangle up. That's not a call. Right decision.
Taisa was given a yellow card for dissent. She was one of the players who voiced her disapproval. Off a block, the U.S. got to that last ball and cleared it to the circle, I reckon. Leticia Santos for Brazil. Marta. Forced back by Dunn. Leticia Santos. U.S. have some other subs warming up. Monica. Monica. Switch wide. Marta. Cutting against two defenders. That's blocked. It's Mewis. Marta trying to lift that one higher. She'll have another go at it. Marta slipping it in. Brazil looking for a good chance. Ludmila headed once. It's loose in the box. And the flag is up. Flag's up. Offside. Close call.
And Brazil not fatiguing the way I anticipated. Coming on stronger in these waning moments of the second half. And saved by offside. It's the right call by the referee. To Uyghurs, Ludmila. Or JC, excuse me.
You guys have two subs up. One of them is Jessica McDonald, who has not played a minute so far in this tournament. Ethan Morgan will be coming out. Curtain call for those two players. When the referee allows it. Bobby now. No numbers up yet. They're looking for the board. Now they've got it.
Carly wasn't happy about it.
Let's go. She wasn't. So Heath is coming out. to this nice ovation, well-deserved. Jessica McDonald will replace her. Heath had a terrific tournament.
You said it, probably the best player in the first 2 matches, and I don't know that you could argue any different in tonight's. So active on that right side, and obviously with the brilliant goal we saw, and a massive goal, because that is a confidence builder for the side if the U.S. can hold on to the lead.
Final sub at this moment anyway. Carly Lloyd will replace Alex Morgan. Worked hard tonight, came close on a couple of occasions to getting that 100th goal, but that 100th goal will have to wait for another game. She's out, Carly Lloyd's in.
And it was a quiet evening for Morgan, but she continues to lead the line and show that she's an all-around striker.
So 3 subs in the first game, 4 in the second. The most subs Jill Ellis has used has come in this game here. That's the 5th U.S. sub. Brazil have made 3 changes. When you look at someone like Jay-Z, she's only been a sub for a couple of games, so she's probably pretty fresh. Jusenara only played in 1 game. She was a sub. Ludmila had not played, so maybe that's one of the reasons why they're still hanging in there and they're not looking as fatigued as before. Ball coming back, and Harris got it in the end. In the 88th minute, her save against Ludmila earlier. Otherwise, it's 1-1. Talking a different scenario here.
Game management so important for the U.S. We've talked about a number of times because it has been one of the stresses for the side. Can they focus for 90 minutes?
Lloyd chipping it. That's blocked. The U.S. recovers. Mewis squared it well. Sonnet. 89th minute. U.S. with a 1-0 lead over Brazil. If this result stands, they finish in 2nd place in the SheBelieves Cup tournament. Look out there as it's taken away. Jessica McDonald to the end line. Wanted to cut it back, but it's broken up. Brazil will clear it. U.S. controlling it to the right. Sonnet. Pass on that right side is blocked. Out for a throw-in. Brazil got it in quickly.
And that last attack started by Dahlkemper. The flicked on ball in over the top from McDonald. Yes, it created a little bit of havoc for Brazil, but ultimately I think that's a ball you keep at the United States. That's game management. You don't need to force it forward.
Mewis. Done. Japan would be finishing in 3rd place. If this result stands, Brazil would be at the bottom. Still have seconds left before we hit 90, and then we'll see about stoppage time. As Brazil will have the ball. 2 big plays in this game. The Tobin Heath goal in the 20th minute, and the second half save by Ashlyn Harris off Ludmila to keep the scoreline at 1-0 U.S. Leticia Santos back from Monica. Erica. 5 minutes, minimum of 5 added on in stoppage time. That's a healthy number.
It looks like JP, the U.S. has shifted into a 5-back with Davidson dropping in between Sauerbrunn and Dahlkemper.
Game management, right?
Yeah, but it's got to be the individual decisions now within that system.
10 for Marta. Dunn won it. Mewis cleared it ahead. It's going to be out for a Brazil throw-in. England will be getting their trophy and medals in a few more minutes. Again, they did well in this tournament, showing that they could be a force, could have a deep run. The upcoming Women's World Cup in France, June 7 to July 7 on Fox.
I put them up there with the U.S. and France in terms of the capabilities to run those 7 games and go the distance.
Who else do you like?
Outside of them?
Yep.
I do think Japan can get there in 2 months. I've liked what I've seen out of some of those players. Germany, of course, is going to be, I think, an outside player looking in, but you can never discount them with the experience they have, and now with their new boss, Tecklenburg, excuse me, von Tecklenburg.
By Lloyd, and that's blocked. I'm going to see what Australia looks like. We'll see them in the next game because they've had the coaching change, and no one knows how that's going to work out.
Well, you're right. Great point. I forgot them, especially with Kerr.
Yeah, Sam Kerr, in the discussion, certainly is the best player in the world.
Is the discussion? Is there a discussion?
No,
she is the discussion.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think we're saying the same thing. But some people might have a different player. Upfield it comes. Brazil on the ball. Foul on the U.S. here in stoppage time. Brazil looking for one more good opportunity at goal.
In the center back position between Dahlkemper and Sauerbrunn, and Davidson has popped back in the midfield.
Ready to rotate, ready to rotate.
And here ready to rotate coming from the sideline. It's cleared out of the back by the U.S. Lloyd's going for it. She'll end up with it, laying it off. She was taken down. Brazil tries to come back upfield, but it's knocked out of play. It'll be their throw-in. Thaisa with a pass to the outside. Inside off Thaisa. U.S. will just clear it out. Monica. Leticia Santos. They overshoot Marta. Done. Wanted to be safe as she could be there. Cleared it out. Didn't want to risk going back. Off the Marta throw in. Jay-Z. That's out. It's a goal kick for Ashlyn Harris. Final thoughts on this game?
It was the response the U.S. needed. I think with Mewis shoring up the spine of this team, they looked a lot more comfortable on it. I thought they looked more dangerous centrally. They were able to hit incisive passes. Everything wasn't just filtering wide. It was more dynamic. She covered a ton of ground. Becky Sauerbrunn, of course, shored things up centrally in the center back position.
Press.
And now game management has looked better.
Sonnet. U.S. trying to close it out. McDonald. USA's best overall game, best overall 90 minutes of this tournament. They had moments in the previous two games, but this has been their best 90.
And against perhaps the weakest opponent, though. You have to take that into consideration.
Seconds left here in stoppage time. Jessica McDonald from the North Carolina Courage, defending champs of the NWSL. What a year she had last year. She'll get to it. Off a block by the corner flag. Out again. Another throw-in for the U.S., and that will take some more time off the clock. The U.S. going to finish in second place in the SheBelieves Cup tournament. As soon as we hear that final whistle. Brazil throw-in. That's it. 1-0. U.S. gets the win. Tobin Heath gets the goal. A shutout for Ashlyn Harris and a terrific save off of Ludmila for Ali Wagner. I'm JP Dellacamera. We hope you enjoyed this one. Come back with us, though, Rob, Christy, Leslie, and Mercy, and a trophy presentation to England for the winners of the SheBelieves Cup tournament.